I made this announcement in my YouTube post section, and it basically outlined that I really needed a break from YouTube. I want to go into a little more why I needed that break, what I really want this channel to look like, and give you some more context on my online graphic novel, The Lost Land Sage, by sharing a little bit of history and world building. So those are my goals for today's video, which I think we could probably fit all of that in because I am making this a long form video. Feel free to draw while you watch, because that's what this video will be. Put it on in the background, whatever you deem it worth doing with. You could even just sit down and watch the full thing. That would be really cool, but I just needed something low effort and relaxing to put up on YouTube, and this seemed like the best option. Fair warning, this video is not scripted. Most of all of my other videos that I've posted so far have been scripted, but again, I was going through some things when it comes to YouTube, and so I wanted to take just a more casual approach with this video. By the way, just quick plug right here, my online graphic novel, The Lost Land Sage, has had the latest 2 pages updated. They updated last Sunday, so if you have not seen them yet, definitely go check it out. It is the closing of this first scene of chapter 1, so the entirety of the first scene of chapter 1 is completed, so if you want to read that all the way through, you can. And also there's the prologue that is completed, so got a lot of content for you available to read and enjoy now, and that is at projectsage.thecomicseries.com. I'll just leave it in the description if you are interested. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the whole burnout thing. So, I sort of touched on this in the post I made, but I was doing too much, putting it in a TLDR. I was doing way too much. I was scripting chapters for the actual graphic novel, drawing pages so I could be sure to stay ahead, studying so I could be sure to be advancing my art so I could properly convey what I want within the story visually. I was doing art pieces on the side for fun. I started a KoFi, which I will also leave linked in the description. And in that KoFi, I had digital downloads for every month that I started. And I have a full-time job as a graphic designer where I could work upwards of 45 and sometimes 50 hours a week. It's an agency setting, so it is very high intensity, quick turnaround, so the project deadlines and things like that could really take some mental power and some of my time. I am currently looking for a home for my boyfriend and I, and just a lot of stuff was going on. And on top of all of that, I was trying to get out YouTube videos, and not just YouTube videos, animated, well, quote, animated, in quote, YouTube videos. Now, even though these videos were not animated to the degree where I would feel comfortable with calling them fully animated, they were to the degree where it took a lot of frames and a lot of time. At first, I did this style of animated YouTube video because I was running out of time the first time to make a YouTube video, and it seemed easier to just draw it out as opposed to doing something else in front of the camera. I don't know, it just seemed like a good idea at the time. I was able to crank it out in 4 hours, get it uploaded, and it was well received. I mean, well enough received for a small channel under 100 subscribers. By the way, subscribe. But yeah, it did well. And I did a poll where I asked if people wanted to continue to see this style of video, and they did. And I think that is where things started to take a turn. Because I realized that this style of video and the way I was creating these videos was getting more attention, I was more inclined to do it. Now, it's no longer ended up taking 4 hours because my updates are getting longer, my details are becoming more intense, I'm learning more, I'm wanting to share more of what I'm learning, and so it was just really difficult to keep the time dedication to making the YouTube video in balance with everything else I had going on. Like I said in the post, the graphic novel is my main priority. And while I have fun with YouTube, and I have fun with connecting with you guys, and I enjoy sharing more about the Lost Lands Sage, this platform was more of a hobby / marketing tactic as opposed to my focus. And so when I'm stressing all week over getting the YouTube video done, and doing nothing towards working on the actual graphic novel, I realized there was a bit of an issue there, which is why I had to just not upload a video 2 Sundays ago. I had the video like 75% done, but Saturday morning I woke up and I was just like, no, I don't want to continue this cycle. I am putting my foot down. No. Which was hard to do because, like I said, it was gaining traction and getting attention, but it felt necessary for my own mental well-being and the longevity of my ultimate project. Which is why, again, I am trying this style of video. I don't think this will be in every update kind of video, but I do find it a lot easier to just talk into my microphone and have the recording playing in the background as opposed to all of the things that went into the other style video. Now, I do enjoy that other style of animated video a lot, actually, but I don't think I will be doing it every other week as I have previously been doing. Also, I want to take the moment to thank everyone who was very kind and understanding in the comments and even to themselves when I sort of told you guys I just needed a break for a bit. It was very encouraging and I felt really good to be supported in that way. So I just want to acknowledge you guys and say very much thank you. I really appreciated that, and it let me spend these past couple of weeks just regaining my composure. To continue into the next topic that I wanted to touch on in this video, I'd love to just talk more about what exactly I want this channel to look like. So I am an artist as a hobby, but I don't want this to be an art channel. If this is not making sense now, just give me a second. It might make sense in a few sentences, but I can't promise that. I can only hope. I want this channel to be about the Lost Lands Sage. It is Project Sage. That is what it is. So while I do want to update on drawing techniques and studies and things that I am doing to advance the technical side of the graphic novel, I also want to be able to post videos with world building and dives into creatures or dives into characters or legends and myths and lore from within the world, and really create a space where people love the Lost Land Sage as much as I do. As weird as that sounds. At least it sounds weird saying it out loud. But I only really want that because I just love this world, this story, these characters so much. I mean, every time I draw the main character, Wisteria, I just fall a little bit more in love with her every time because I think she's so beautiful, and despite the fact that her story is not nearly as tragic as so many others within the world, I still hurt for her. And I don't know, I love it so much. And if my videos never focus on characters or the world in that way, then you guys don't get that context that makes me love the characters so much. So then I feel you are robbed of the opportunity to really understand these characters' hearts. And I don't want it in the form of a kind of short, easy to digest, surface level video. No shade on my side characters video, but I wanted that to be something different. I wanted it to be more about who Pip and Autumn are. Because like I said, I love these characters. They have so much to them, and I don't think I did them justice. So that is the general idea of what I would like this channel to look like. In execution, it may look different with every upload for now, as I'm finding what is both engaging for you guys, easy enough for me to complete without feeling pressure or burnout, and scratches any creative itch I might have, and also, like I said, and the main point, shares more about the world of the Lost Land Sage. Now, I want to try and start getting into that aspect of world building within this video, so that is what I'm going to try and do within this section of the video. So, a little context. I have been building up this world for over 2 years now. There is a lot of context, lore, behind the scenes, world building that has happened sort of off screen. And you guys don't know any of it, which I think is tragic, personally, because it gives so much more context to the actual story. So one of the things I developed is a sort of world history. It's more of a recent-ish world history, not a 2,000 years ago kind of history, creation of the world. I haven't done that yet. It might come in the future. But I wanted to take some time to share with you guys the recent-ish world history of the Lost Land Sage, because if I recall correctly, I haven't even told you guys what the name of the world that they are in is called. And it is Tourmaline, for those of you who are curious. Just so when I do get into the legacy that I will be sharing, you're not lost when I say Tourmaline and Greater Tourmaline. That is the world in which they reside. So, if you are ready and you'd like a warm drink, a snacky, I have a snacky, maybe light a candle, definitely get a blanket, settle in, because I'm going to do my very best to tell you the story of the Lost Land legacy. It is an epic of kings, queens, and war. The Age of Harmony. Before Wisteria's story and before the Covens ruled the land, there was an age of kings and queens, of wizards and witches living together in balance. The kingdom of Greater Tourmaline stood mighty, presided over by King Frederick Astley, a wizard of wisdom and strength, and Queen Heather Astley, a witch of unparalleled power. Their rule was one of peace, where magic found harmony under their just governance. Yet, as the wheel of time turns, even peace is fleeting. It is the year 1925, and the royal house is rejoicing at the birth of the twins, Princess Hadley Astley and Prince Christopher Astley. With their arrival came the dawn of a choice that would shake the foundations of the entire kingdom. Queen Heather saw in Princess Hadley the makings of a strong ruler, a prodigy of the arcane and a sorceress of undeniable might. King Frederick, however, saw in Christopher the heart of a king, thoughtful, just, and wise in the ways of men. And so, in the secrecy of his chamber, Frederick penned his will. His son would inherit the throne. But fate is rarely so kind, and neither was death. The death of a king, the rise of a war. In the dark of night, shadows moved where they should not have, and whispers of treachery filled the halls of Astley Castle. King Frederick Astley met his end before his time, his passing shrouded in suspicion. His grieving queen sought to honor his name, but when the royal will was unveiled, its words set fire upon her soul. Christopher was to be king. A mother's rage is a fury unmatched. Heather Astley, Queen of Witches, denied the decree, demanding that Princess Hadley ascend to the throne instead. The kingdom trembled as the land split into two. Those who honored the late king's will and stood behind Prince Christopher taking the throne, and those who rallied to the queen's cry, declaring Princess Hadley the rightful heir. Words turned to shouts, and shouts turned to blades. Blades turned to war. The Magic War of 1945 ignited, a battle of spell and steel. Princess Hadley, gifted and ruthless, led her forces with that sorceress might. Prince Christopher, though, he was brave, and he was just, but he could not match the inferno of his sister's wrath. And then, as the final spell was cast and the dust settled upon the scorched fields of battle, Prince Christopher was gone. His banner fell, his warriors scattered, and his body was never found. Queen Hadley stood victorious, yet the echoes of the fallen haunted the throne she claimed. The Witch Queen's reign and the Great Divide. With her brother vanished and the war won, Queen Hadley ascended the throne of Tormolin. Her name was etched in history as the victorious sovereign. Under her rule, witches flourished, their power cemented as the kingdom's new elite. Wizards, once equals, became shadows of their former selves, deemed relics of a bygone era. Still, Queen Hadley's vision for Tormolin did not end with political dominance. Deep within the halls of her court, a long-forgotten spell was unearthed, one capable of severing the magic of all men. At her command, the spell was cast, locking away the arcane strength of wizards across the land. Her trusted sage, a master of ancient rites, sealed the incantation with Queen Hadley's own blood, ensuring its binding was absolute. For 50 years, from 1945 until 1995, Queen Hadley reigned unchallenged. Her decree, law. Her will, unshaken. The kingdom prospered beneath her rule, but whispers of discontent lurked beneath the surface. Some wizards clung to hope, still seeking remnants of their stolen magic, while others accepted their fate, bending the knee to their witch rulers. Yet, as all rulers must, Queen Hadley too met her end. With no heir to inherit her throne, Tormolin was left adrift and in the void of leadership. Chaos, yet again, seized its chance. A new war erupted. The Great Coven War. For 2 years, witches who once stood as allies turned against one another, all vying for dominance over the fractured land. Spells lit the night sky and the rivers ran red with blood. The war consumed the kingdom, tearing apart covens that had previously stood for centuries. When the storm finally broke, only 2 covens remained, the sole survivors of a war-torn Tormolin. The Greenery Coven, champions of progress, seekers of knowledge, and guardians of balance, and the Golden Coven, defenders of tradition, wielders of authority, and harbingers of control. A good but fragile peace settled upon the kingdom, but peace is never without unrest. Whispers filled the air, carried on the wind like ambers awaiting a spark. What of the lost prince? Did Christopher Astley truly perish in the war, or had he vanished into the shadows, his bloodline hidden beyond the reach of history? And if his lineage still endured, would his heir return? The throne of Tormolin still remains unclaimed, its fate uncertain, and slowly moving towards forgotten. But if history has taught one lesson, it is this: power never stays dormant for long. The throne's forgotten heir. Now, in present day, 2025, the world turns still. The covens hold their power, but in hushed voices, some still wonder. Is there a descendant of the rightful king? Does the blood of the Asleys yet run in the veins of an unknown heir? And if such an heir exists, will they come to reclaim what was lost? The throne of Tourmaline stands waiting, its legacy unwritten, and history, as it has before, may soon repeat itself. I hope that was an enjoyable storytelling session and not cringy. My sister used to love when I would read her stories or tell her stories growing up, so I hope it was enjoyable, but if not, just let me know in the comments. Maybe don't do that again. Still, at the end of most of my videos, I talk about Wisteria's story, and her story is within this world, where this bigger story is going on, like in any world. So yes, we are still following Wisteria's journey to and through the Ever. We are still with her as she navigates these relationships with different people like Pip and Autumn and others. But the context of her story is happening within this world. It all ties together, as any character living within a space does, but her story is also still her own. I think I did a good job of making Wisteria's story so that if she were not to exist within the world, the same issues would still exist. Making her story her story. That's what I really wanted, because although I love Wisteria, this whole world is really where my heart lies. The world of Tourmaline and their home of Greater Tourmaline. There are so many different people and places that you can focus on to get a completely different story, but again, the world still exists. So that is a look into the Lost Land Sage world building. I think the first one that I've had so far, so it's the inaugural world building video. With this in mind, the things I've shared so far and anything else that I've shared across my platforms, whether Instagram, here on YouTube, Blue Sky, whatever, is there anything that interests you about this story that you really want to learn more? Anything about the world, the characters that you'd like me to make a video about where I can deep dive in a similar fashion to the legacy storytelling that I just did? I don't know if I'm being redundant, but if so, leave it in the comments and I will hope to get to that video or that topic as soon as possible. Now, I would like to let the rest of this video play out. I'll leave some music going in the background, and I really hope that you guys are having and will continue to have a good time zone. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. I did have a goal of reaching 100 subscribers by the end of March. I don't know if that's still possible with the break that I took, but I'm hoping for it, so if you want to help me along, that would be really great. Also, turning on your notifications and liking the video will help me within YouTube's algorithm and get more people to hear this story and join this world. Also, I brought it up earlier, but I did create a KoFi. It is linked in the description. My KoFi tiers range from $1 to $20, I believe, and the rewards range from Discord access and behind the scenes and voting on these YouTube videos. If any of that interests you, including digital downloads, early page releases, time-lapse of creations, all of that stuff, if any of that interests you, then you can go ahead and head over to the KoFi. If not, that's fine. You can just chill here. We're still here. I think that's all of the self-promo things. Oh, I almost forgot the most important one. If you are more interested now than you were at the beginning of this video to read The Lost Lands Sage, then you can go ahead and do that at projectsage.thecomicseries.com. Okay, I think now that is it when it comes to the end of video self-promotion obligatory YouTube rant. Alright, so I'm gonna leave this video going. You won't hear any more of my voice for the rest of it, but I hope you enjoy. You're beautiful, you're awesome, you're doing a good job. Keep going. Bye.
Thank